This is episode number 34, Minds Without Limits, AI in the Realm of Creativity. Stay tuned. Hi, and welcome to the Chronically Empowered Mom Podcast, your source for energy and inspiration. I'm Vicky Siciliano, motivational coach, certified personal trainer, former jazz vocalist, and a multiple-time Amazon published author. My mission is to empower you to be the best version of you, no matter what stage of life or if you have a chronic illness like me. Ready to rewrite your story and be the best version of you? Let's dive in. Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Chronically Empowered Mom Podcast. I am your host, the Chronically Empowered Mom, Vicky Siciliano, and I'm here today to share with you some really cool things that have been going on with me. Now, I have to say I've been having a technical hiccup this morning. I wanted to record this as a video, right, to kind of multiply my presence out there in the universe. I wanted to put it on YouTube. I wanted to do this on a video. And I'm actually sitting here smiling at the camera, but there's nothing recording. I was going to use a program called iMovie, which comes with Apple products. But of course, I could not get it to work for me this morning. So because I'm a band of one, like a little monkey on an organ, I couldn't get it to happen. So if you'll bear with me, it's just my voice here with you today, and I guess that's kind of intimate and nice in a way. But there are some visuals that I'm going to be sharing with you in the show notes. This is episode number 34, and I wanted to share with you all that's been happening in the world of artificial intelligence, or AI. AI has been in the news like crazy lately. So there's different kinds of artificial intelligence. One of the most popular ones that people are using is ChatGPT. Now, this is just for use for the general public. You don't have to be an expert in artificial intelligence. You can just pretty much speak to it and chat with it as if you were having a conversation, and you may need a problem solved. So you want to ask it for an opinion on how to solve a problem. I had a situation where I needed to kind of communicate with a parent, and I wasn't sure how to do it kind of politely, but it was an issue with me, and I did. So it gave me some pretty good advice, and it's not the be-all, end-all. I mean, you always have to, think of who you're talking to, right? You're talking to a bot. It's not a real person. It is artificial intelligence. Now, there are things that it can be trained in, and those things are pretty special to me, okay? I am a hugely creative person. I love photography. I learned how to photograph with a DSLR, and it's one of those real nice cameras with the solid glass lenses. And when I had to go and shoot, when I was physically able to, and carry a backpack with lenses, a wide angle, macro lenses, and all of my paraphernalia with that was great, right? But as time went on, after I had my son, I now walk with two forearm crutches, and it really doesn't allow me to carry much. I can carry stuff with a pinky. I maybe carry a water bottle through the gym with two fingers and a pincer grasp, but not more than that. So you definitely wouldn't want me holding your drink, that's for sure. So when I was able to, I was loving photography, and I could frame any shot that I wanted. I could let you see what was so important to me in my world. And it was also important to me for marketing, because at that time I was a marketing manager of a trade show exhibit company, and they created some pretty awesome stuff. But the trade show floor wasn't always conducive to an excellent shot, so I would need to make magic stuff happen a lot of times in post editing, right? So after the shot was taken, I would go in Adobe, and I became an expert in that. But if you can get anything right straight out of the camera, OTC, that's money, okay? So it was very important to me to brush up on those photography skills, because at that time, there really was no AI. It's really taken hold now, And you can be an artist without having to carry all of that cumbersome paraphernalia, if you will, for myself, okay? Because I am mobility challenged, carrying stuff for me, getting me to a place at a certain time, not that easy. But for me, it's easiest to do it whenever I have the energy and I have the time to create something. So one thing that I've been using besides ChatGPT is Midjourney. Now there are other tools that you can create artwork in, namely Leonardo AI. There's also DALL-E, which is owned by ChatGPT, and you can now talk to ChatGPT and ask you to draw an image of something, and I give you a pretty good first attempt at it. It's not known for, and I say yet, it's not known for its graphic capabilities yet, but its counterpart, right? It's AI for art arm, DALL-E, DALL-E, is really coming around now because there's such huge competition with Midjourney. Now I have a paid subscription with Midjourney because all day long on my iPhone I have an app that allows me to just generate whatever kind of image I want. It's very powerful. It's a very powerful tool to learn the language that's needed to generate an image that you want or envision is an art. You know, it's called prompt engineering. So I'm actually engineering my prompts very smartly by this new word that I have that I feed to Midjourney called describe. So I will give it an image and I ask it to describe to me what it sees. And Midjourney spits out 4 prompts, right? So 4 different ways to view that image. Sometimes it will give me an artist that it feels has certain qualities for that image. It may not be an exact, but definitely some influences from artists will come in. And I've been learning a lot about art. I give it images of art that I love, and I say, what do you see in this picture? Or describe, right? And it gives me back artists that I can click through and see a Google link to kind of learn about the artist. Sometimes they are deceased. Sometimes they are current artists. I will tell you this morning what happened with me using Midjourney with my son's artwork. Okay, so my son Sean is 8 years old. He is not a big fan of creating art. He doesn't like anything that takes too long, too much effort. He doesn't see himself as an artist, nor does he like to take a long time to write anything. He has very high functioning autism, so he is very resistant to doing things that he doesn't want to do. You have to take a lot of convincing to get him to do something. But I think I found a secret this morning. It happened. So he had to do homework for his teacher, where he would create a math equation and then draw art to support that math equation. So it was a cumulative math equation, something plus something equals something, right? So he created 2 snowmen. At first his idea was a little busy. He had 2 of something and then times 8 something. So he was going to draw 2 airplanes and 8 runways, and that was just too much stuff, too much drawing, and I know Sean. So we had him pull it back to 2 times 2, or 2 plus 2. He decided to draw 2 snowmen, which were pretty simple, and they both needed 2 sticks for arms. So how many sticks did they need, right? There's 4 sticks, 2 snowmen, 4 sticks, 2 sticks per each. So he was not crazy about drawing art at all, and he never is. He hates his art class. He doesn't like the tools. And I think in his art class they have to paint all the time. And a lot of girls like painting, and I get that. You know, he likes the easy way out. He wants to create something and out. I have been coloring every day, so I have a whole toolkit of different pens that I've found work for me. But again, it's trial and error. I am a female, very creative. I don't mind trying new things out. And with Amazon, you can always try something new. I bought these pens that have two sides. So one side is thin, a thin nib. The other side is like a felt tip pen. It's thicker with a nice stroke that it gives. And I kind of love these for my coloring because I don't have to scratch, if you will. With a very fine tip nib, I can kind of sweep the felt across the page, the felt tip, and it comes out beautiful. And I created something over a week's time, and I just finished it this morning before I went to the gym. I was really excited about it. I'll share it with you in the show notes and on my website. So it's a cat with a certain symmetrical kind of print that you can just easily color. It's very forgiving. It doesn't have very fine detail that I'm not really good at with my hands. So I created this myself out of a need, and then I relax and I meditate and I listen to things and I learn. And I'm going to talk about one of the things that I've been learning more and more about in this that I think will surprise you while I was coloring. And I learned so much because I'm able to focus and sit in one spot and do it while I'm meditating, do it while I'm listening to somebody teach me something. Okay, so it all started, with a gratitude journal that I posted on Amazon. I created this journal myself. I used a tool called Canva, and I created every page. Most of the pages have the same thing on them, but each page was differentiated by a quote, and that was an inspirational quote about gratitude. And I looked that up, and I kind of fine-tuned it so that I had 90 pages, 90 days, 90 quotes. Okay, so that was my first creation. I used the book cover creator that comes with Amazon, KDP, or Kindle Direct Publishing, which I used to self-publish this book. It has no coloring pages in it. It has pages about affirmations and explaining what those are, and also different categories that you can be grateful, 12 categories to be thinking about when you're crafting your statements about what you're grateful for. Because some people have no idea about how to be grateful. When I started, I had no idea how important gratitude was. And it all starts there. Unless you start at home being grateful for the world you live in, there is nothing left to be thankful for or appreciative of. Your happiness starts at home. What you're happy about, someone else is not going to be. So you create your own world, and you have the choice of being happy or not happy. So if you want to be grateful, it's going to make you a much more positive, happy person. I guarantee you that because it's worked for me. So I wanted to create another gratitude journal, this time after reading the reviews of different gratitude journals. I guess you could call them competitors. I'm not really out there competing with anyone. I just wanted to manifest, this gratitude journal for my own use, so I knew that it was good for me. Maybe it would be helpful for someone else. And I have friends that have bought the journal. I have review on Amazon for it. I know more are coming soon, but I have such a feeling of accomplishment with this book. It didn't matter that I had coloring pages or not. I knew that someday I would have a gratitude journal with those coloring pages that I wanted so much, because other people wanted coloring pages in their journal. Okay, I started creating coloring books and learning more and more about how to prompt for those coloring books, because I'm not an artist. I certainly don't sketch. I'm in awe of creators like Joanna Basford, which is a #1 bestseller on Amazon for these little tiny detailed pictures that she does an amazing job with. They're these own little worlds that she creates, and I tried to color a book. I bought a book of hers, and I wanted to see what all the frenzy was about. And my hands are just not dexterous enough to have an enjoyable time coloring the book. It feels like there's just too much detail on the page for me. Not that that's a bad book. It's just that it doesn't work for my ability in coloring. I wasn't a newfound skill that I was looking for. It was just, I wanted to kind of live in the world of somebody that would be coloring and creating art. So I learned as much as I could, and I'm still learning every day more and more. But one thing that I did that really has changed the way that I view artificial intelligence, and it will help you also know how you can really use artificial intelligence to be creative and not steal from people, okay? There are people that are really afraid of AI, and you might be one of those people. I don't know, but you don't have to be afraid of it if you know what to do with it. So I use ChatGPT to learn, and I use Midjourney to learn. So one of the things that I want to understand about Midjourney is how to craft a perfect prompt. Excuse me. How to craft the perfect prompt for a coloring book. I don't care for those grayscaled coloring books that have kind of shading. I like those real crisp, bold black lines with the white backgrounds that you can freely color and not have any grays shade the tone that you're trying to color in. And it's a true, coloring book that I grew up with. I didn't grow up with gray shaded, Midjourney created coloring books. And I knew that I would have to understand this for my gratitude journal. So I asked ChatGPT to come up with 20 images, no, actually 30 images that would be good for a gratitude journal coloring book. And it came up with ideas like a dove, a lot of birds, flowers, trees, mandalas, and it was interesting to see what it thought. And I used some of those ideas, but I also used some of my own. So it gave me the ability to create something with a subject. So I knew I wanted to create some kind of an image for the coloring book with some subject in it. Okay, say a peacock. But I had to learn how to draw that peacock. And that only came over time. So I, learned how to prompt. I'm not here to teach you how to prompt, but I just want you to know that when you create an image and you're not using a tool like a pen or a paintbrush, or you're not physically creating that artwork yourself, you're going to have to learn how to prompt for it and explain how you want it to look so that Midjourney or Leonardo AI, DALL-E, whatever tool you're using, so that it will learn how to draw exactly what you want, or at least close enough to that it'll be good enough. Because let me tell you, when you use Midjourney, and probably most artificial intelligence right now, it doesn't have a good idea of what limbs are supposed to look like or hands, and it creates things that are kind of wonky. So if you're looking to create a sloth, for example, and I created sloth coloring books because I know that Sean's teacher is a big fan of sloths. And there are a lot of big fans of sloths too. So I wanted to create sloths. Do you know that the sloths it created with like regular bear claws, some of them were few and far between. I had to really work for a 3-toed sloth. So there's some work that you're going to have to put in to it. But for the most part, it does a really good job. There are some things it doesn't understand. I can give you a few things, like stingray, it had no idea. Dragonfly, it didn't know if it wanted a dragon or a fly. Really interesting stuff, if you play around with it. So that's the things that I have to learn, right? I have to learn how to speak the language of artificial intelligence so that I get it right. And a lot of that has been feeding in images of what moves me, right? Artists that moved me, other coloring books. I'm not trying to copy the pages, but I wanted to give me a really good idea of how I would describe that if I wanted to create something similar. What other artists are there that would inspire me to tell it that I'm looking to have a little bit of this person in there, but not copy that person, but there's some quality that they have. Maybe they like to draw with stick figures or something. And I'm going to give you something that happened this morning, and tell you I am so moved by Midjourney and ChatGPT and artificial intelligence in general, and show you why you don't have to be scared of it. Okay, so my son doesn't like to really draw. I was getting on this before, but again, by the way, I have no iPhone. My iPhone is usually what I have my outline that I've created before I start talking into this big fat microphone in my face. I don't know where I left my iPhone. So it's somewhere in the house, but I don't have it, and I'm just really going off the cuff. So if I start on something and then come back to it later, please forgive me. But I wanted to tell you about this thing that happened this morning with my son. So he had to draw this art with an explanation of why he was choosing that cumulative equation. Right? So he had 2 arms for 2 snowmen. That's a total of 4 limbs, right? 4 sticks. So he had to draw 2 snowmen, and then he had to draw 2 arms for each of them. Well, I had my tools for coloring on the counter, very smartly set out for him, so that he didn't have to hunt for a crayon box. He didn't have to hunt for a paintbrush with all this paint that I have on my counter, because I used to do gratitude rocks too, and I stepped away from that for a while because I'm just having so much fun and really learning from all of this artificial intelligence. It's not really much that I can learn about painting a rock better, other than more art skills and getting better at painting. Not really into that right now. I'm learning so much more and growing as a person with artificial intelligence. Okay, so back to my son. So he started to get really into getting these snowmen colored. He wanted a top hat for each one of them, but what he did was he had to underline the numbers. He chose a metallic blue pen. He chose a metallic red pen. Now, this is for a kid that didn't want to cooperate in the first place. But I had all of these tools that he could choose from and have an input in what was his creation. So, long story short, I took this picture and I had him take a picture of it, okay? But there were some words on the top, like what the project was. There were some words that he explained what his project was and his answers. And I cropped it out of my photo. So now I have this kind of panoramic, long width looking image. And I fed it to Midjourney and I say, here, /describe. Describe what you see in this picture for me. So it had 2 snowmen, had a little tiny house, and I just wanted to see what it would say. Well, what came back floored me, but not as much as his reaction to it. So it gave me 4 different prompts, and one of them had an NYU student. It gave the name of the student, and I forget, but I'm going to share it in the show notes with you. But it said minimalist. Now, I gave it to Sean to read, and he was like, ooh, NYU student in the style of minimalist, blah, 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 and he kept going on and reading more in depth. But the words that stuck with him were minimalist and NYU. So now I know that his teacher, when he gets to school, is going to hear about this stuff. So I had to send her an email and give her some background on what happened. It was such a great story. So when he hopped out of the car on his way to school, with his book bag and his Chromebook and all this stuff, he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, the word of the day is minimalist. And he shut the door and he smiled, bye. It was the best feeling to know that, that this artificial intelligence is also making my son feel like he has power over his world and that he's validated. He was really validated that there was artwork that looked like his legit. That there was an NYU student who drew like him, and I got all of the images that it said it looks like this. Like maybe this artist created it, and it created them for me. And it gives you 4 versions to choose from. Or you can totally regenerate it and just do it again. But I had him choose which image he wanted. So now he's got that. I'm going to have it printed up and I'm going to have it framed at Michael's, because it's going to make him feel like he really is an artist. It's true. Maybe I'll have it next to the other artist that is really a legit, available on the internet artist. So that was just an experience that I had this morning that made me feel really good, because not only is artificial intelligence rocking my world in terms of creating my own art and improving my world and my offerings and trying to inspire people, but also a little 8-year-old boy with very high functioning autism, and it made him feel like his world mattered and what he created was validated. That was the best thing that happened today. So, okay, with that said, I looked at my bookshelf on Amazon. Okay, so I created this gratitude journal. I now have 2 pages in my bookshelf, which are all of the books I've created. I created a bug coloring book. I created 2 journals with realistic images that I created from Midjourney on them. One was a lotus blossom journal. The other one is a sunflower journal. And they're available on Amazon. I just lowered the price for Black Friday, and I just put them back to where they have to be. But one of the books is in review, and that's this new gratitude journal that I just created. I wish it was available now. I think I'll probably have the link for you by the time you see this, but it's just such a great feeling to know that I came from so far, and I could see all of the growth that has happened using this artificial intelligence, not copying by any means. It's just making me better at what I create. I'm a hugely creative person. I've always had to. Since the time I was born, I'm pretty sure. I know I would always create things and then just like hop on to the next thing. I was a jazz vocalist for 8 years. I was creating my own shows, creating my set lists. That was just a hugely creative time in my life. And then when I got to leave the stage, when I was diagnosed with MS, and move into the marketing world that I was already trained in, because that's what I had gone to school for originally, marketing management, I saw that I was able to still be a creator, and that was very important to me, and how to attract eyeballs, especially online, right? That's where I focused on. So social media and online marketing was my focus. So for now, I'm kind of taking a step back from that all, because I really don't want to be in social media marketing. I don't really want to push my presence. I'm kind of happy here. I feel whole again since I've started creating all of this stuff again. And of course, you know that working out is a huge part of my life. Also, being a certified trainer again, the knowledge never goes to waste. So that's why I got recertified as a trainer. So whether it's creating a coloring book, creating a low content book like a journal or a habit tracker or whatever, you're still creating something. And if I'm in the gym, I'm creating a better version of myself. So I have all the tools I need there, right? I have my weights. It could be free weights, could be machines, could be cables, whatever it is. I choose what I want to do, and I choose how I do it. It's art to me. And with that said, I choose the tools that I want to use to create, whether it's on the internet or it's other people's art or words. Maybe a poem might inspire me. Something, my nature. Right outside, I'm sitting here by my window. I moved my desk. So I used to have my desk in the corner, the furthest part of the house, and I would be happy there. But now it's just a little hard for me to get to because I have to kind of walk around a chair, and I don't really want to be at risk of falling. So I'm happy sitting here. There's a full door that's a huge window, and I have nature right outside. So it's really made a big impact on me. And one of the things that I want to share with you is that, yes, I can take a photograph right out here, outside my window, and that's great. But I can then, I can do that with my iPhone. I don't have to go and get my DSLR, my Canon T4i. I can just, do that, feed it into Midjourney, and then say, here, what do you see? Describe this for me. And then it will show me art that exists just like that, or will show me some elements in there that I really hadn't thought of describing a certain way. So it's something that I truly love. I love truly creating art again, and artificial intelligence has allowed me to do that. I may not physically be able to walk around with a camera, even my iPhone. I'm limited to where I can go, with how far I have to walk. And now I'm not really limited anymore. I can be anywhere, any time of day, creating stuff and making people's lives better and inspiring them. So I want to share with you something that has really been rocking my world. Okay, I have been learning all I can about Taoism. It really inspired me when I heard one of the speakers on Insight Timer, which is my go-to in the morning, the wee hours of the morning before I head to the gym. And this person was doing 82 verses of the Tao Te Ching and giving his take on it. And this is just, for like over 2,000 years has been in existence, and it's just some real brilliant person's take on the world and what the Tao is, okay? And one verse that really spoke to me, and I'm going to share with you today because I think it has a lot to do with what I'm telling you, okay? So the Tao, right, just the way of life and just existence, the source, it is speaking of verse 6, okay? So there's 82 verses of the Tao Te Ching, and they've been interpreted by many people. I'm actually reading a book that's just interpreted by Wayne Dyer. That's like blowing my mind, just the way that he is interpreting it, and it's just flowing. I listen to it on Audible. It's an ebook, so not an ebook, an audiobook. So this way I can listen to it in the morning when I'm coloring, and it just really grounds me. So I have to say that this verse 6 talks about the eternal feminine, where the Tao is referred to with kind of feminine imagery, and there's qualities that are associated with being feminine, like nurturing, and we can have the babies. And this perspective really elevates us to this cosmic kind of idea that we are the creators, right? And we sustain and nurture. So being interconnected with nature and spiritually nourishing, it's just like I nurture my kid, the Tao nourishes the spirit, and it gives you guidance and just kind of helps you with wisdom and balance and all of these things that I was really missing. I was looking at the whole picture, like why I like certain things, and now I see the creativity that's just overcome and overwhelmed me is just this feminine force. And it's totally natural. There's nothing wrong with me. And I have been learning as much as I can about this philosophy on Taoism. And with that said, I'm going to continue to create, whether it's a podcast or a video. It didn't really matter so much to me as long as I got my thoughts out, because I always have to create these images, and whether they're words or pictures, doesn't matter. I have to get them out of my head. And that's why I'm happy to have Audacity, which will help me create this podcast for you and have it up on an instant on Buzzsprout, where I host my podcast. Okay, so I want to share with you two fortunes from a fortune cookie that I had. It was really cold yesterday, and I wanted hot and sour soup. I wish I had. It was delicious. And I had saved the two fortune cookies from it because they both had to do with creativity. So I thought it was fitting if I would share with you now. Okay? One of them says, a hunch is creativity trying to tell you something. And I thought that was so true for me, because I had a hunch that there might be something in creating a gratitude journal for me. And it opened up the doors to just this whole world of creativity for me that I never knew existed. This other fortune says a dream will always it's turning to the back. Hold on. A dream will always triumph over reality once it's given a chance. So if you just give yourself a chance to be creative, don't squelch it, no matter what it is. If you want to dance, if you want to, sing, or just have a voice out there, don't squelch it. Just be creative, because your dream will always triumph, okay? And that's just what's happening to me. I never knew what was going to happen. I didn't want to be a millionaire creating all of this stuff. I just wanted to do it for myself. And sure enough, people found it was of value too. So I'm going to continue to create. If you have any questions or if you have any suggestions for me on things I should be creating for you, because you're just so overwhelmed with curiosity, I'm more than happy to. So for now, I'm going to sign off. And next time, I hope to have some more awesome things that have happened because of my creativity that is just blossoming and just going in all different directions. Okay, so I hope you have a great day, and thanks for listening so much, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. You were just listening to the Chronically Empowered Mom podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please share with someone else and leave a review. For more resources, please check out the show notes, and don't forget to sign up for my newsletter at chronicallyempoweredmom.com. See you next time.